The sufferers were in despair. There was only one cry throughout the town. Oh, oh, oh! For even the strongest and most courageous were in horrible agonies. They twisted, they writhed, they lay down and they got up, always in an inexplorable colic. The dogs were not happier than their masters. Even they had had too much tart. At length came the happy day when the king, thinking their punishment had been severe enough and could never be forgotten, believed them at length cured of their greediness. That day he ordered Mother Mitchell to make in her colossal pots a super excellent soup, of which a bowl was sent to every family. They received it with as much rapture as the Hebrews did, the manna in the desert. The joy over this new diet was as great as ever had been felt for the tart. It promised to last longer. They were sure to sleep soundly and to wake refreshed. It was pleasant to see in every house tables surrounded with happy, rosy faces and laden with good, nourishing food. The greedy people never fell back into their old ways. Their once puffed out, sallow faces were shone with health. They became not fat, but muscular, ruddy, and solid. The butchers and bakers reopened their shops. The pastry cooks and confectioners shut theirs. The king received the reward of his wisdom. His grateful people called him neither Charles the Bold, nor Peter the Terrible, nor Louis the Great, but always by the noble name of Prosper the First, the Reasonable.
All right. I will be reading a chapter from Psalms from the Bible. Does any of you know who wrote most of the Psalms? Yeah, in the back.
David?
Yep. David wrote most of the Psalms, and he was the second king of Israel and known as a man after God's own heart. This particular psalm he wrote as like a praise and thankfulness to God for all that he has done for him. And at this point in David's life, he has slain Goliath. Saul has tried to hunt him down and kill him. He's been through many battles, and he has also seen the death of his newborn son. But through all of this tragedy, David still recognizes that everything he has comes from God. And from that, he praises God for all that he has done for him. So that's this psalm. Psalm 118. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His steadfast love endures forever. Let Israel say, his steadfast love endures forever. Let the house of Aaron say, his steadfast love endures forever. Let all those who fear the Lord say, his steadfast love endures forever. Out of my distress I called on the Lord. The Lord answered me and set me in a broad place. With the Lord on my side, I do not fear. What can mortals do to me? The Lord is on my side to help me. I shall look in triumph on those who hate me. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to put confidence in mortals. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. All the nations surrounded me. In the name of the Lord, I cut them off. They surrounded me on every side. But in the name of the Lord, I cut them off. They surrounded me like bees, like blaze, like the fire of thorns. In the name of the Lord, I cut them off. I was pushed hard so that I was falling, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my might. He has become my salvation. There are glad songs of victory in the tents of the righteous. The right hand of the Lord does valiantly. The right hand of the Lord is exalted. The right hand of the Lord does valiantly. I shall not die, but I shall live, and recount the deeds of the Lord. The Lord has punished me severely, but he did not give me over to death. Open to me the gates of righteousness, that I may enter through them, and give thanks to the Lord. This is the gate of the Lord. The righteous shall enter through it. I thank you that you have answered me and have become my salvation. The stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Save us, we beseech you, O Lord. O Lord, we beseech you, give us success. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. We bless you from the house of the Lord. The Lord is God, and he has given us light. Bind the processions with branches up to the horns of the altar. You are my God, and I will give thanks to you. You are my God, and I will exalt you. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever.
I will be reading a poem called Learn to be Grateful by Edgar Albert Guest. Edgar Albert Guest, who's also known as Eddie Guest, lived from 1881 to 1959, and he was born in England but moved to America as a young boy. He was very popular in the first half of the 20th century, and he became known as the people's poet. Eddie Guest worked for over 60 years for a newspaper called the Free Press. He was first a copy boy and later became a reporter, and he published most of his poems through this newspaper and later on through books. And he wrote about 11,000 poems in his lifetime.
Before you read, does Edward A. Guest sound familiar to anybody?
Oh.
Yeah, what poem did we read? Everybody?
It couldn't be done.
Yeah, they memorized It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar A. Guest. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
And sorry we have library today, so people
Okay.
are going in and out. Hopefully it's not too distracting.
That's okay.
Yeah, Emily, you can go. Elizabeth, you can go.
All right. So this poem is Learn to be Grateful by Edgar Albert Guest. Be grateful for the kindly friends that walk along your way. Be grateful for the skies of blue that smile from day to day. Be grateful for the health you own, the work you find to do. For round about you there are men less fortunate than you. Be grateful for the growing trees, the roses soon to bloom, the tenderness of kindly hearts that shared your days of gloom. Be grateful for the morning dew, the grass beneath your feet, the soft caresses of your babes, and all their laughter sweet. Acquire the grateful habit. Learn to see how blessed you are, how much there is to gladden life, how little life to mar. And what if rain shall fall today, and you with grief are sad? Be grateful that you can recall the joys that you have had. Thank you so much.
Awesome. What do you say, everybody?
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions for us or anything?
Anybody have any questions?
No? Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.